Shouldn't I always be using a leader whenever I'm fishing and using braided line?
Yes, you should. One reason, because it's very visible to fish and it's not abrasion resistant. So if the braided line is not abrasion resistant and it cuts easy, leaders are made to be abrasion resistant. That's what they make them for. They also make them to be less visible. There are different type of leaders. You can use a monofilament saltwater leader or just a monofilament leader, which is okay. That's the next step up, and then the best is a fluorocarbon leader. The reason a fluorocarbon leader is better, it's a denser, harder material that's totally invisible to fish in the water. So now what you just did is you eliminated the braided line from even coming into the equation by adding a leader that's invisible and more abrasion resistant, where it gets caught around an oyster. It's not gonna cut as easy as the braided line. How long of a leader is a common question too, Julie, that they ask. When you're fishing, it depends. If I'm using live bait, I use a leader of about 30 inches or more. If I'm using a lure, it's about 24 inches, and here's why. The first thing is when you're using braided line, because it is visible, and you're using a live bait, if you tie a short leader on there and you cast, if Julie were to cast to that mangrove and there was a bunch of snook sitting in there with a white bait or a scale sardine or whatever bait was in there, the first thing the bait's gonna do, it's gonna swim out of the danger zone because it doesn't want to be eaten by the predator fish. And the first thing after he swims out of the danger zone, he swims right to the braided line as the snook or the redfish or the trout's following him. When he sees the braided line, it just might change his mind to eat that bait. If you have a fluorocarbon leader that's at least 30 inches long, you have a buffer zone. He's gonna see the bait, he's not gonna see the leader, and he's gonna hit he's got a longer chance to hit that bait quickly before he gets to the braided line. If you have an artificial bait tied to your leader, the artificial bait will never pass to your braided line. If Julie had an artificial bait and she was twitching it and it was moving, the bait is never gonna cross to the braided line. It's just gonna follow the leader. He's focused on that. So you can use a shorter leader when you're using artificial baits, because the lure never is gonna swim to you when you stop.